Hi, this is Barbara. Welcome to the Recipe Box. We've got a lot of exciting things happening around here, so stay tuned. Welcome to the program, everyone. I've been off a couple of weeks. It is the end of summer, and it's back to school time here in the USA. For those who are listening in the archives, I know people listen to the archives from 3 years ago, which is always amazing to me. But it is August 2011 here, and we're trying to wrap up the summer, all the activities, get all that out of the way to get things cranking for back to school. And, boy, it seemed like summer just started, then it was really hot, and now summer's over. It's amazing. So onward with today's interview. I found out about this company, and I was really intrigued about not only because I like to do gardening here at home, and so I always look for ways to add new things to what I'm growing, but also that it is, one of those, I don't want to say rags to riches because I have no idea what their financial background was before they started it, but they were two young guys, college guys, and they were headed in one direction with their career path. And, ding, this bright idea came to them to come up with this Back to the Roots, where you can grow mushrooms in a box. And all of a sudden, here they have this thriving business. It's, we're all talking eco-friendly, sustainable, ways to make money, ways to make jobs, all of those great things. And they have this fantastic idea, turned it into a business, and they're not only are they profitable, but they're getting the attention, not only the media, but they're going to. My guest is going to talk about a trip that they just had to Washington D.C. to the White House. So how outstanding is that? I love what they're doing. I love the idea. I love that they make it so easy for everyone. This is something that children can learn. They have a program for back to school, but they have programs that you can get the kids involved. I love that. So, it just ding, ding, ding. It hits all the bells and whistles and all the points that are really important to most of us. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to have them on the show to discuss it. And so I reached out, and the representative got me in touch with one of the founders, and Nikhil is going to be speaking about Back to the Roots. I want to mention the website. It's pretty easy, right? www.backtotheroots.com. So if you're not going to be able to listen to the whole show right now, just go over to the website and check it out. But I hope that you'll listen to the interview and find out more about what was the inspiration and what it took to get the business going and what they're doing now. And then, of course, you're going to run over there and buy the products. So I'm going to introduce my guest now and open the mic for Nikhil. Hi, Nikhil. Welcome to the program.
Barbara, thanks so much for having us on here. This is awesome.
I am so pleased to have you on the show. Now, tell us your co-founder, your partner is Alejandro.
Alex, yep. Yep,
Tell
and we
us
started
about
this.
were you guys friends before you were in college, or did you meet in college? How did that work?
Yeah, that's actually the funniest part about it is that, so we were in the same classes for almost 4 years throughout school and didn't know each other, and looking back now, we're in many of the same classes, but it was this last semester in school, we were both sitting in a business ethics class, and we hear a professor bring up, and looking back now, a pretty random fact that he could potentially grow gourmet mushrooms on different agricultural waste streams, one of them being coffee grounds. And for some reason, both of us reached out separately to our professors, a class of almost 100 people, and we both just asked him, hey, do you have any more information? That's kind of a cool idea. And he emailed us both back separately, hey, I have no idea, but this other kid asked me about it too. You guys should link up. That's kind of how we met, and it's pretty funny how, for 4 years you don't really know somebody, and next thing you know, you're, trying to start a business together.
Isn't that something? And the idea is you could take coffee grounds, used coffee grounds, and every college campus has about, 100 tons of that, right?
Exactly. There's every corner of the cafe, and we're this is awesome. You can take an urban waste stream that was being thrown away and, add value to it, grow food off it, create jobs off it. It just seemed like an awesome combination.
Now, what exactly was your career path going to be before you decided to look for used coffee grounds?
So it's funny. We were actually both going down the kind of corporate route. I had an offer to go into consulting. Alex had an offer to go into investment banking, and I know we both thought, that's what we were heading into, and we heard about this idea and kind of fell in love with this whole, waste to food model. And I know we met up in Alex's fraternity and just started brainstorming some ideas, and it was like right before spring break we finally decided, what the heck, let's give it a shot. And we ended up planting like these 10 test buckets, literally kind of like paint buckets of coffee grounds mixed with the mushroom seed or spawn. And we came back from spring break, and I still remember this. We walk into this closet, and out of those 10, 9 of them were just completely contaminated, but one of them had this gorgeous bunch of these pearl oyster mushrooms growing out of it. And that's kind of the first time we saw, like, hey, this idea can actually work, But we had no background in agriculture, food, let alone mushrooms. So it was a long roller coaster from there. But
yeah, I was going to ask you, were you gourmet? Were you foodies? Were you guys weren't running around with the Food Network guys and all of that? This was just one of those things like, hey, that might work.
Yeah, it was funny too. When we first, with our first bucket, like both Alex and I kind of looked at those mushrooms. We're like, dude, we don't know what a good mushroom is supposed to taste like versus a bad one. And so we're like, and I'm not sure if there's a restaurant in Berkeley called Chez Panisse, founded by Alice Waters, who's like a really big chef in the local food scene, and it's pretty close to campus. We're like, hey, what's the best restaurant in town? We're like, let's just take this over to Chez Panisse. And we literally walk in with a paint bucket of mushrooms, and she happens to be there. She gets really pumped about it, gets her head chef, Cal, to come over and try them out, and he ends up sauteing them up on the spot, and he was like, oh, these are delicious. So that same day, Alex and I were like, oh, if he says they're good, they've got to be good, So we take that same bucket, walk it over to our local Berkeley Whole Foods, and I don't know, those guys have been really supportive too, and we just kind of walked in with a paint bucket of mushrooms, like, hey, we're trying to go mushrooms more sustainably on coffee grounds, and I don't know, just kind of one thing at a time trying to learn about it. So
only in America can you walk into a gourmet restaurant with a bucket of a paint bucket full of mushrooms and then walk into Whole Foods and that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. So you guys. So after you discover, all right, we not only can we grow them, but they're not poisonous. You can actually eat them, and they're pretty good. We've got the proof in the paint bucket here that we've got a good idea. What were your colleagues in your, you said you started out talking about it in the fraternity house. Was everybody thinking you guys are nuts? There's no way.
Yeah. So last semester in school, we're like walking around lugging back bags of coffee grounds. Your friends looking at you like, what are you guys doing? But no, it's funny. Like maybe 2 weeks before graduation, we ended up getting a small 5K grant from our chancellor for social innovation. And I don't know, that was kind of the last step where we're like, all right, we got mushrooms that taste good, got some demand from Whole Foods, so they're interested, and we got 5K, in our pockets, and decided to, forget investment banking, forget consulting, and become full-time mushroom farmers. So kind of decided.
Now, how glad are you looking at the situation in Wall Street and all the infighting and all the things? How glad are you that you're growing mushrooms versus trying to survive?
Yeah, can't imagine going down that right now. I mean, we're having it's a lot. It's definitely, a ton of work, but we're having a blast doing it. So it's really fun.
Yeah. I can imagine it's a lot of work, but not as much stress.
Yeah, and it's just exciting because I think it's just something new, and you let you kind of be creative, and and the funnest thing now too is like we're starting to build our team out, which is fun, and our whole company is still like our average age is probably like 25 or so. So it's a cool. Fun atmosphere.
Yeah. Now, did you decide, what was the thought process in making the kits? Because I could see where you would say, well, we can grow mushrooms and we could probably sell them to restaurants, right? But how did you decide you were going to put them in box kits and sell them?
Yeah, it was actually, we started off growing the fresh mushrooms, and after we graduated, it took us like 6-7 months of just day in, like trial and error, watching every YouTube video possible, reading articles online, just giving ourselves a crash course and, how to grow mushrooms. And eventually, like the end of 2009, kind of finally figured out how to consistently grow the fresh mushrooms. And as we started to scale those up, and eventually we were kind of selling about 500 pounds a week to all the Northern California kind of grocery stores. And we had a lot of customers start asking us, like, hey, this is pretty cool, but can we do this ourselves? Like, can we make it one step more local? And we started getting all these people asking us that. So finally we started kind of working on taking this whole concept, like how can we bring this into people's kitchens and people's homes, and that's kind of where the idea of the Grow It at Home kit came about. And the nice thing about mushrooms is they only takes about 10 days to grow, so it's a pretty, I know, it's probably the fastest food you can really grow, and we're like, if we can figure this out and make it easy enough for people to do, it could be a really fun, way for everyone to get involved in growing their own food.
Now, where are you growing the ones that you were selling to the stores and everything? Did you just find a big warehouse somewhere? Or?
Yep, so we have we're in Oakland now, like an urban farm. It's a big kind of, old industrial warehouse. We've turned into, like, all these racks in there and, crazy stuff like that. So, but it's like all urban farming. We collect about 20,000 pounds a week now of coffee grounds from local cafes. Pete's Coffee is one of our biggest partners here in the Bay Area. Bring them all back to our warehouse, and our whole goal, I think, is like taking an urban waste stream, kind of growing food on in that same area, creating jobs in that same area, and
right. Yeah, I mean, that's everything about it just made perfect sense, and I thought, wow, what part of this can you not like? Every piece of it. You're growing food, you're making jobs, you're dealing with the waste issue, and coffee grounds are things that you can find in every community. Everyone's got 4 or 5 coffee shops within walking distance, especially if it's a college town. Yeah,
exactly. And the big part of it too for us has been like, it's one big word we have in our walls, too, like inspiration, and through the kids, because they're so pumped up about it, is that our goal is to get people inspired. Like, you don't need a green thumb, you don't need a big backyard. Like, anyone can grow their food at home.
Right.
And, with these boxes, like, you just kind of mist it twice a day, put in your kitchen windowsill, and in about 10 days you can get a pound and a half of gourmet mushrooms. And I know we've seen a lot of awesome reactions from, like, kids and families getting involved, because it's kind of that as close as it gets, I guess, to instant gratification, when it comes to growing your own food. So I know as the more we start seeing those reactions, like, the more excited we got, and really trying to grow it out now.
Now, your connection with Whole Foods, you walked in there with your paint bucket full of mushrooms, and how did it turn into having your kits sold out across their chain?
Yes, we literally walked into that store, and we ended up getting support from that one Berkeley Whole Foods. And when we first launched, that was our first store we sold out. We still have this invoice on our wall too. It's 3.14 pounds of oyster mushrooms to the Berkeley Whole Foods, and these are the fresh mushrooms, and kind of started building it out to the NorCal entire region. And then we launched the kits again. It's just at the one Berkeley Whole Foods, like testing it out, not really sure the response we were going to get. And we were finding out it was really cool to see that buzz starting to be generated. I think all our response from customers, and within 6 months, Whole Foods agreed to make us national. So now we're selling the kits nationally with Whole Foods.
Right. That's what. So what you're saying is you started with a relationship kind of one-on-one with that one store, and built on that relationship and on the success of that, and it just kind of grew from there.
Yes. Been one store at a time, one customer at a time, and we do a ton of demos on the floors. And our biggest thing is, like, we want to be in front of our customers and in front of our community as much as possible. So it's been very much like a one store at a time, one person at a time. But it's fun to see, because I think when people grow it and they want to share their experience, it's really fun to see people telling their friends about it and things like that. So.
Yeah. Now, the White House. You went from carrying a bucket of mushrooms around from door to door to the White House. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a really fun experience. About a couple of weeks ago now, we got invited to a youth entrepreneurship summit at the White House, and they're kind of gathering young entrepreneurs from around the country. And we started off like in the Capitol building and the Senate building, and ended up the day at the White House. And I know it's definitely a very surreal moment for sure, carrying around like a fully grown mushroom kit in the White House. One of those moments you stop back and like, man, it's a mushroom kit in the White House. I don't know, but it was an awesome experience, and definitely something, it just gets, and I think it's something, it's a testament, I think, to the growing movement of people wanting to grow their own food in this country and kind of knowing where it comes from, So.
Yes, absolutely. And the initiative that they have there with the White House kitchen on the grounds, I've watched that thing expand over just a few years. It started out, and now they have the beehive with the beekeeper there, and all kind of really cool things happening. So
the work the First Lady's done is just to build awareness about the importance of locally grown and sourced food has just been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And getting the children involved, because that's a major piece of it. When you start talking about childhood obesity, you really are talking about changing mindset about food, and that's getting them actively involved in the growing process, cultivating, harvesting, all of that is a big part of it, and they understand where food comes from. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually one thing, too, I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to mention it to your listeners, too, is we actually just launched a really cool new Facebook campaign where anyone who posts a picture with their fully grown kit on our Facebook page, we actually donate then a kit and a sustainability kind of curriculum to an elementary school classroom of your choice. We're really trying to get people involved in helping us spread the word to schools and getting kids involved in it too. So if you just post a picture on our Facebook page, we send a kit to a school of your choice. So we're really excited about this new program, and would love to get your listeners involved too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the project itself is so simple. I mean, this is something that they can. How much is a kit? How much is a mushroom kit?
Well, it's $19.95, and you end up getting a couple different kind of crops out of it, and a couple pounds of mushrooms. So ends up being a similar price you'd pay for these mushrooms in stores. And then once you're all done, the nice thing is that the leftover coffee, all the mushroom roots, actually becomes a real amendment you can add to any of the plants at home, tomatoes, flowers, things like that. And then we sell bags online at cost of $9, and just keep your box, and you keep on growing your own food at home. So you have money and you can do it yourself. It's fun.
And you can grow 2 crops generally of the mushrooms in the box?
We guarantee 2, but we've definitely had people, if you take care of it well, we've had some customers get 3, 4 crops out of it. So depends how much you want to take care of it after the first 2. So.
Right. And like Nikhil has been saying, the kids this is something that easily can be done in a classroom setting, or I know a lot of people who homeschool. And how simple is this? You open the box. It has a little opening in it. You just spritz it with water. It's not like the classroom goldfish where you're like, oh, no, is it going to survive? This is an easy project for the kids, and not expensive at all. It's something really simple to do. What is your Facebook page? What is the entire URL? Facebook.com and /
back to the roots. So Facebook.com/back to the roots.
Okay, fantastic. So everybody go over to the Facebook group and, just order several of these. Don't just order one. Order several of these. One for your home, and then donate one to your students, your child's classroom teacher, or to the community group there, or to the homeschooler that you know, or the daycare center owner that you know. But get this in the hands of some young people because they're going to love watching things grow. I know I did when I was a kid. They had, back when I was little, they called it the Green Thumb Club or something crazy. But it was fun. We always had a little domed thing that you grew flowers or you grew tomatoes or something. But something about watching the food grow or the plants grow, it just really gets kids actively involved in wanting to know more about it. And then they can learn the whole story about the sustainability and dealing with waste and all of that, too, as it's an additional lesson to that. But that's so wonderful. So what are you guys doing now? I know you kind of kicked off this thing with the Facebook campaign and everything, but what's on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, one thing that, what really gets us excited is we want to really kind of build that brand about, making growing your own food and sustainable living as easy as possible. And one thing we talk about internally a lot too is we kind of look at Apple and what they did in some sense for high tech and gadgets and taking it from kind of that geeky, nerdy stereotype to just really mainstream cool to really well designed and easy to use products. And we're a lot of this grow your home movement is still stuck in that quote unquote Berkeley almost hippie stereotype in some sense.
Yeah,
we're so much more if you can design stuff well and to kind of make it easy to use and package it up well. I think there's so much of a movement that can be generated across the country. Everybody should be growing their own food. And I think we started off with mushrooms. We want to kind of expand beyond that and really kind of offer people a range of, cool kits and products so they can grow everything at home and just make it as easy and fun as possible.
Excellent. I was teased a little bit. Last year I grew what I called my porch farm. I didn't want to dig up the backyard because I wasn't sure how good I was going to be at this. So I really just got tired of a friend of mine talking about how much she had grown in her garden, and she lived in the city, just like I live in the city. And she grew all of these different things, and I really just got tired of it. And I thought, you know what, I have some big planters on my front porch. I'm going to see what I can grow. And I grew onions and green beans and salad greens and strawberries and, watermelon, on my front porch. And my neighbors would see me out there every day, every day. And finally, a gentleman was working on the repairs on the downspout on the side of the house, and he was up on the ladder and said, "Hey, those are real green beans." And I said, "Well, yeah." What did you think they were? He said, "Well, no, I'm like real green beans." So I'm like, yeah. So I think people are just amazed when you tell them you can grow food, on your front porch or on your windowsill. You don't have to live out in the middle of Arkansas somewhere.
And you're talking about kids too. I mean, it's cool. Like for us, a lot of people, when we get all this response from kids, after they grow these mushrooms, this kind of thing opens their minds. Like, hey, if I can grow these, like, what else can I grow? Or where's the rest of my food coming from? I don't know. We just think like it's so important to get people, and especially kids, kind of asking those questions and kind of thinking about that at an early age. Hey, if I can grow these, like, where's the rest of my food coming from? It's just so important.
Right. Where's the rest of my food coming from is a big question a lot of us are asking these days. And with the salad greens, that I told my sister, I said, well, you can go ahead and pay $4 for a bag of salmonella, or you can grow this right here on the front porch. So, I just applaud you for all the work that you're doing. Now, when you guys first got started, I mean, how many hours a day were you working? I mean, is it like round the clock trying to figure out how to grow mushrooms? What was that? What was the work day like for young entrepreneurs?
I can tell you right now, it is still it's the same work days that we started off. I mean, the work shifted, but we started about 6:30 or so in the morning, and we're still working till about 9:30 or so in the evening. So it's a lot of work. I mean, we've been bootstrapping this whole thing so far. Haven't just been doing it kind of organically and trying to grow it out. And but I don't know, the fun thing is, like, it doesn't seem like work. It's just like you see the response from people, and it's like, you get we're like a team, and it's not even a team. It's like a family now. It's, everyone working towards this, and it's fun every day. So it doesn't feel like work still. It's cool. And
you have reused how many pounds, do you think, of coffee grounds at this point?
Our goal this year, in 2011, is to hit 1 million pounds. So our goal this year is to collect and divert 1 million pounds of coffee grounds that were being thrown away and kind of reuse them. So we're on pace for that right now.
You're on pace for that. Okay, fantastic. Well, give out the all the information again, the website again, the deal on Facebook as far as posting pictures and getting that kit for one of your classrooms and all of that. Go ahead and give out all that information again.
So our website is backtotheroots.com, and you can buy the kits on there. Actually, it's free shipping if you get 2 or more, so it brings that cost down. And another thing is, if you get a kit and you grow it, just post a picture on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/backtotheroots, and we will donate one to an elementary school classroom of your choice. So I'm really trying to get a lot of kids involved. So you can log on our website, get us backtotheroots.com, and get some kits right there.
And you guys are on Twitter. Give out your Twitter handle.
Twitter one is BTTR, stands for Back to the Roots, BTTR Ventures, VENDURES.
Okay, BTTR Ventures on Twitter. So all of my buddies out there on Twitter, make sure that you hook up and follow them, and also retweet whenever they're sending out information on their business. And it only takes 10 days to grow mushrooms. Well, if you grow two harvests of that, it could take a little longer. But then after that, you can still reuse the grounds and put them in your garden, because I do use coffee grounds in my garden, and mix it in the soil. So none of this is going to waste. Absolutely. When you buy this, nothing is going to waste. You're going to eat the mushrooms. You're going to reuse the coffee grounds, and I'm sure the box is biodegradable. I mean, life is good. So there's nothing wrong with this product. You can find nothing wrong with this product. So I'm always happy to bring someone on that has done something so incredibly innovative, has such a great story and such a great passion about it. I'm glad you guys missed all of the craziness on Wall Street and picked something that we that you can work these long hours and have a passion about it and enjoy it and make jobs for people. I think that's wonderful. So I hope that you expand across the country more. I know you're in Whole Foods, so everybody look for them in Whole Foods also. But I hope you expand more and with the outreach and with the kids and everything. I think that would be fantastic if I would be able to drive through Major City and see one of your offices here. I think that would be great.
Honestly, the support means so much to us, and we're still, every day trying to build this out, and it means the world to us, like the support from you and the entire community. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. You have a wonderful day, and tell your partner, Alex, that we said hi, and congratulations on all of your great success so far.
Will do. Thank you very much. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. Remember, you can go to the website, which is therecipeboxshow.com. You can follow us on Twitter, and that is twitter.com/therecipebox. Remember, listen in on Thursday for our foodie call, which is the Food Bloggers Round Table. You never know what we're going to be talking about, so you always want to stay tuned. We have the Midnight Munchies show on Saturday nights. For those who are the late-night crowd, you want to listen in on some of the archives and what's going on with that. And next week we will run the episode on home-based bakery business. If you want tips on starting your own home-based bakery business, make sure that you listen in on that interview. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Well, that's another show, everyone. I want to thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us. So just click on the button for follow. You'll be able to stay up to date on everything that's going on with the program. Also, stop by the website, therecipeboxshow.com, and subscribe. We have giveaways almost every week over there, so you definitely want to stay in touch with us. Follow me on Twitter, @therecipebox. Have a great night. Bye-bye.